So hey guys, a bit of a surprise one today because the Gary O'Neill press conference, the Wolves press conference for the game against West Ham, Julian Lopetegui's West Ham at the moment on Monday, has taken place today. It normally takes place on a Friday, but it's taken place today, and Gary has faced up to the question. So there's a lot to cover off on that. I've just made a load of notes on 2 or 3 pages, so I'm going to try and go through and cover all that off for you. But the first thing I've got to say is I'm really staggered this morning that he's still in a job, and as we go through this information I'm going to give you, it becomes even more interesting. But I'll come back to that and my thoughts on the end, and I do apologise if you get a reflection off my glasses as I go through everything. So obviously, the press were there in force today, actually. Obviously, it's been after last night's result, there's been a lot of talk. As you can imagine, the fans are not happy. But he did start by addressing his job security. He was asked. He said, "I don't think about me personally." He said, "I think for the team and where we are in the league. The last 2 results let us down from the momentum we created. There's a lot in the last 2 games that the group need to take on and learn from very quickly. We want to have a chance of being more competitive and more consistent." He was also asked about whether he'd be in charge for Monday's game. He said, "I can only keep going until things change. As far as I am aware, I took training this morning. The players have started to have recovery, and the players that didn't play have trained." He said the sacked in the morning chance didn't hurt him personally. I'm going to come back onto that, as criticism is part and parcel of his job, but he is disappointed for the fans. He added, "I understand how much it means to them every week. I know how much they give, time, travel and money." He went on to say that obviously he's been on the terraces and being a fan too, so he understands that. He's also gone to say his players definitely have the courage and the fight to turn the performances around, but have too many mistakes in the last few games. This was in response to if he still had the fight and the players, but he concentrated on the players. Talking about West Ham away, he said it will feel huge, but the label must win will be that for every game whilst we roam in the relegation zone. And after Monday, the next game after that will be used. Talking about the battle ahead, he said Wolves need to stay in the Premier League regardless of whether there are 7 managers this season or whether it's me, i.e. Gary O'Neill, who takes them the whole way through the season. We need to find a way to keep this club in the Premier League. And he said, when asked about will Julian Lopetegui be the opposing manager in the dugout as he faces pressure too, O'Neill added, there have been in poor form, of course, but they go away to Leicester and have 30 shots. They have something to work with. He also talked about was asked about the leaders. He said we have a young group. He said there's got to be a lot of realism. He talked about when Wang comes on, he always gets booed. He said, but he's got Premier League experience. He talked about the likes of Pedro Lima, Rodrigo Gomez and Forbes, who are all young lads. Pedro Lima wasn't brought in to be used this season. Rodrigo sparingly, the same with Forbes. And he said he's got to try and find the answers. He said he's very excited and looking forward to the next few days preparing for the West Ham game. And he said he's only concerned about the future of the club. And again, he reiterated he's not concerned about him. One other thing that was asked, which I thought was really interesting, and it's that on the screen. He was asked if he'd heard from Matt Hobbs or Jeff Shee, to which he answered he had no conversations with either Matt Hobbs or Jeff Shee, which is really interesting. And I'm going to just come on to a few things now. I obviously really want to hear your thoughts, because we didn't expect a press conference. First off, he showed up to work this morning. He's took training. He showed up for the press conference. He also went on to say that they watched the game back last night, and he's going to work really hard, and people don't understand how hard it is that they're all working, and they've tried everything and it's not been able to work, different combinations, all of that. The one thing I will say to that, if you've tried everything and it's not working, then it ain't working, is it? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and getting the same results. Now, interestingly enough, as all this is going on, he's been nominated for Manager of the Month for November. It was a much better month, of course, for us in November, but we also talked about things papering over the cracks. And I was incredibly, I mean, my dad turned at the last match. I haven't spoken to my dad yet. I've got to give him a ring in a bit. And obviously, you know, after last night, there's just no coming back. There's no coming back. The fans have had enough. There's no real coming back for Gary from this. And the onus is on the board. Now, when he's saying about I have no concern or he's not hurting, and he says things like I'm not concerned about it, it's part of the job. As a fan, tell me if I'm wrong, guys. You want to hear that he's hurting. You want to hear that he's hurting him very, very badly. For me, I want a manager to come out and says, I'm absolutely devastated, I'm hurting, it's really painful, I want him to be emotional about it. You know, it's alright talking about all these sort of things, I'll take the next training session. It felt to me during that press conference today, he said a lot of the many things that he said, talking about the results that we had in the past. He talked about the fans and the unity from last year and the good times that they had, which were great, which is why he had so much credit in the bank. And the fans have been great with him, and the fans have been really, really supportive and patient, obviously to various degrees. Some flip result to result, others take it over a certain period, others it takes longer. But gradually, every domino, one by one, has fallen. And all of the fans last night made it very, very clear, and it's been bubbling under for quite a while. And I do feel, and I worry, that if he is in charge on Monday night, the focus and attention is not just going to be on Gary. It's going to turn very, very, very much to Jeff, our chairman, Matt Hobbs, the board, for not acting. You know, there's reports today that West Ham and that Potter's very, very close to going there, and it's also said that that's a potential target for Wolves. So why hasn't Jeff Shee and Matt Hobbs spoken to Gary O'Neill? One or two reasons. They've got their head in the sand and they're doing the ostrich, and they're just thinking, oh fine, keep going, which I hopefully can't believe is true. Or maybe there are conversations that are going on behind the scenes, and they're trying to put those things in place before they give Gary the chop. And, you know, Gary O'Neill is going to have a decent career in coaching and management in one form or other. He dropped on the Bournemouth job, you know, they got rid, but he came in and did a great job for us last season at short notice, and no one can ever take that away from him. But he needs to go back down the leagues, maybe to League One or the Championship, and really build and get more experience, because he's been thrown into the deep end and he just looks like a rabbit in headlights, to be honest, at the moment. I think the players, they try, but there isn't any unity there. The whole identity of the club. Gary O'Neill also talked about self-sufficiency, because he was asked about PSR, doesn't get much involved. He said, well, maybe the only club that does that. This isn't just on Gary O'Neill right now, because Gary O'Neill is putting the players out there and he has to go. And I think everyone understands that. I'm hoping the board do as well. But this self-sustaining model is going to end up as getting relegated. There's got to be a complete sea change. I understand that there's bridges been burned with George Mendes. Now look, we were too reliant on Mendes without a shadow of a doubt, but you look at what happened with Nuno and the players that we got and all of that sort of jazz, and I think Conceição is a Mendes client, and to me he's the main man that could come in and really make a difference. He's got gravitas, he's experienced, you know. I mean, Potter's been mentioned, Moyes. I don't see Moyes as a long-term answer personally. Would they both come? But like, I'm waffling on about this press conference because I'm trying to stay calm, but like every fan, I'm really angry and disappointed and flabbergasted and staggered that Gary O'Neill's been doing this press conference today. Fair enough, he stood up to do it, but he hasn't spoken to the chairman or our sporting director. So I'm hoping that our chairman, our board and our sporting director are putting their ducks in a row and they're going to have basically come out and say, Gary, your time is up, and they're going to come in with a new guy straight away. That's what I would hope that would happen. But why they haven't spoken to him, I don't know. Because his tenure, Gary, it's just, regardless of what happens against West Ham, he's still got to go. He's still got to go. It's just as. Disagree with me. If you disagree with my thoughts on that, obviously disagree. I don't like to be saying it, you know, about anyone. But Gary O'Neill, he knows he'll be fine. He'll get his payoff. I think he's on about 500,000 a year. You know, he'll sit and get paid until he gets a new job. But like, the cost of Wolves going down is astronomical. Not just for the revenues coming in, but for people at the club, you know, the general people that work at the club, the cutbacks that'll have to be made. It's a nightmare. So decisions have to be made, and they have to act. They have to act. And I still can't believe Gary O'Neill's going to be in charge on Monday, but who knows. Leave your comments below. If you appreciate the update and thoughts, please hit that like button. If you're brand new, hit that subscribe button for us, would you? It helps us produce bigger and better content for you. And yeah, leave your thoughts, as I say, in the comment. And I'm a bit I can't believe really what's going on at the moment. Hey, leave your thoughts. Till the next one, always Wolves.